the web at espnblacksburg.com.
It's The Drive on ESPN Blacksburg, and a good evening to all of you. My name is Paul Van Wagner. KG is in the other studio. He is taking your calls at 961-1430, 961-1430. Love to hear from you today. Tell me what's on your mind as we continue our round the world of sports discussion. And, of course, kind of ironic that I mentioned going around in a circle because Jason Stamm is joining us. Are you dizzy yet?
I'm sitting down at Bristol Motor Speedway, so
okay.
at the moment, not so much. No. I already got my riding done today.
I was going to ask you, so you posted that video on Twitter just a few, I don't know, maybe about an hour ago or so. So you were actually they took you in the car and around the track?
Yep. They, that's the thing, though, Paul. Like, I jumped at it. Not everybody decided to jump at the opportunity to ride around in a car at Bristol, but right. I was like, yes,
yeah,
I will take that opportunity. I mean, how'd you turn that down? How often do you get the chance to drive or ride in a car at Bristol? So we got up to 120 miles an hour. I think they took us around about 5 laps or so. But it was awesome. I've been on some roller coasters, Paul. That one I think is better than any roller coaster I've been on. It was pretty sweet.
Did they get you up near the wall where you were like, oh, that's too close?
Oh, yeah. Well, they don't in the turns. But
right.
In the straightaways, you're definitely hitting those walls. So you're going down in the turns and the embankments, and then coming down for the straightaway. But it was pretty sweet. Yeah, I mean, it was hard to hold my phone still to be able to video that, but I was determined to do that, so I got it done.
I got to be honest with you, man. I'm just impressed that I didn't hear you screaming like like a small child going around there. So what's going on at Bristol? Why are you guys all there?
Yeah, they unveiled the trophy today, so it's basically, it looks like a little miniature Bristol Speedway with a football coming out of it.
Nice.
And then Whit Babcock, Dave Hart, both the athletic directors were available to the media and talked about kind of what's going on. They unveiled the field. I'm looking out right now I'm up in the suites at Bristol. I'm looking out. They're working on the jumbo floating big screen, however you want to call it.
Yep.
And they've got, it looks like the actual frame is together, but they've been installing a screen today. So they've been kind of testing it out here and there. I mean, this place is going to hold, my guess is 160,000 when you factor in all the suites. I think the actual grandstand itself is 150. But when you factor in, there's going to be 5,000 seats they're going to add on the track itself. And that's not even counting the suites. They'll count everybody in the bands. I mean, they're going to really take everybody here. They may even count the media as far as the official attendance goes here. It's going to be, I'd say, close to 160, if not more than that, officially.
Well, now, and interestingly enough, they've got a race coming up here in about, I want to say 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks. And then after that race, that's when they begin kind of putting everything together as far as the field is concerned. So they've given themselves a very short window to make this happen. Now, you also posted basically kind of the idea how they're going to lay this field. Is it going to end up being natural grass when it's all said and done?
It's an AstroTurf that's on top. It is a turf field. I mean, I did post that picture. There's a pretty, it's a foot and a half deep, maybe foot and a half of field they're going to have to lay down on top of the track. So they're going to truck in. That's a lot of material they're going to be trucking in, and I don't know how many tons that is, but that's a lot. So yeah, they actually have a truck race a week from today, and then goes through, I guess, Sundays when the Sprint Cup race is.
Right.
And then I believe they said 19 days, if I'm not mistaken, is the time in between that last race and when the game is. So it's a very, very quick turnaround. And that was one of the things that we, both athletic directors were asked about. Whit Babcock said that, of course they're concerned about it, but everything that Bristol has told them, they've showed them how they're going to do it. They've told them what the plans are. And so he says that, hey, they seem to have everything together, and that's kind of what they have to go on is kind of their word. So they're saying everything, they're showing everything, and so we'll just have to wait and see if they can get everything down in that 19 days. Definitely haven't let themselves much time, that's for sure.
Well, they may have to work around the clock, but I got faith in them anyway. So let's talk a little bit about recruiting, because you were on vacation 2 weeks ago. I was on vacation last week. We haven't had a chance to sit down and talk, but in the interim, there's been quite a few players that have committed verbally to Virginia Tech. I guess just in general, where would you say Virginia Tech is as far as need versus what they've got so far?
Yeah, I mean, there for a while it seemed like they were really struggling with receivers. And it was kind of, I guess confounding is the word. I mean, it was kind of just surprising that they were struggling as much as they were. But they've really made a rally and grabbed quite a few receivers. And the biggest one came last weekend with Taj Capehart. 4-star, top 300 guy from Virginia Beach. He's at Bishop Sullivan now. He was over at Ocean Lakes in Virginia Beach. But this is a big-time guy. I don't know if he's going to be an NFL guy at this point.
Right.
He could be. But at this point, I'm not sure that 100% he is. But you talk about a guy who's well-suited for that offense, that spread offense. Mm-hmm. Very precise route runner, great hands, quick. I think he's been timed, I know, at a 4.4. Depending on, there's been a few times he's done the 40, obviously, but I think he's been timed as quick as a 4.4. So kid's got speed. That's something that all of these recruits, all these commits, they all have in common. They all are blistering fast when it comes to speed. So, they may not have the star ranking and, receivers-wise, it's a little concerning that they're all a little short. I mean, Taj is the tallest one, and he's 5'10", 5'11". That's not counting Caleb Farley, who probably will be playing wide receiver, but is, kind of like more of an athlete. He's played quarterback. Mm-hmm. But, they're all a little on the shorter side between them and Hezekiah Grimsley, Khalil Pimpleton, Sean Savoy. Those are all really small but fast guys. Mm-hmm. So, but they are addressing need. I think Taj is a great get. It's a huge get, even just for the fact that he's a 7'5" guy and has a lot of connections over there. So I think they're really starting to reaffirm their presence in that area.
Well, yeah, and obviously when you talk about speed, we've heard Coach Fuente talk about this. Everything they're trying to do is fast, between the drills that they run during practice, going from one station to the next. Everything seems to be predicated on that speed. So not too surprised that they're foregoing height for the quickness. At some point, though, you got to figure that they've got to look for maybe one or two 6'3" or 6'4" receivers. Is that safe to say?
I think so. I mean, they did take a few tall guys in this most recent class. Mm-hmm. You've got Divine Diablo, Eric Kuma. Those guys aren't tiny like this group that they're bringing in. So that it's not that they don't have any size, but I think down the road, 2017, 2018, they definitely going to start looking. They need to start looking for size. And they still may take a taller receiver in this class yet. I mean, it's kind of waiting to see where they are space-wise. Right. But, depth-wise, they have more than replenished that depth. And we were it was a concern for quite a while there, what they were going to do depth-wise receiver. And I think they've kind of restocked a little bit, and things aren't looking as dire as they were for quite a while.
So who is the next group of non-committed guys on the radar? Who are the guys we should be keeping an eye on here over the next couple of weeks that may or may not make some sort of decision or announcement?
Well, DJ Crossan has already said he's going to make his announcement after his first game, not this weekend, but next weekend. Okay. So I believe it's the 19th.
Yep.
I think that Virginia Tech obviously is in very good position there. It sounds like probably between Virginia Tech and North Carolina.
Okay.
Of course, he is a 2018 guy, so he's got time, mm-hmm. but he's a kid that can make a huge impact. He goes to school with Hendon Hooker in Greensboro, so mm-hmm. There's a connection there. But I'm not really sure. It's not 100% one way or the other, but I think it's probably going to be between UNC and Virginia Tech.
Okay.
And past that, I'm not sure what Jalen Holston is going to do. I think he's been heavily favoring Virginia Tech for quite a while now. There's some other schools that are in there with him, but Virginia Tech's probably looking in the best position there as far as he goes.
And on the basketball side of things, where are the Hokies at as far as some recruits, some commitments, anything like that?
Yeah, they've had some misses here in the last few weeks. I guess Raquan Gray, probably the most notable miss this week, ended up staying in-state at Florida State. But they've still got some guys that they've really kind of made, I guess, some headway with. Daryl Morsel, they've gotten in his top 5.
Okay.
Bisa Bede, who's really gone from a complete, well, I wouldn't say complete unknown, but a relative unknown over the summer to, he's a 4-star kid, one of the top guys in the country, had a great July. They've got in his top 5 as well. So they're still in there, but they're kind of having to go to other options. Some of those guys that we talked about a month ago or, a few weeks ago, they've kind of either fallen out with or kind of just had to move on to other guys. So they've got other options out there, like the guys that I mentioned, but kind of having to go to some other options at this point.
So back to football real quick because I forgot to ask you about this. Dwayne Lawson leaves Virginia Tech. What does this mean from a recruiting standpoint for the Hokies? Are they now in the market for another quarterback? Are there quarterbacks available, or should they just kind of hold pat and wait until the 2018 kids come out?
Yeah, I don't think they're hurting at all. I mean, I think Dwayne Lawson honestly probably needed to leave. He was getting edged out. I mean, even in practice, that first day of practice, he was working with the 4th team.
Right.
So he'd gotten passed by even Josh Jackson, who's certainly going to be a redshirt unless he's kind of going to be an emergency guy this year. He'll play only if they absolutely need him to.
Right.
But you've already got a commitment for 2017 with Hendon Hooker. You've got a commitment for 2018 with DeJuan Ellis. So I don't think this really affects them at all, really, as far as quarterback recruiting goes. And I can't imagine them taking another one at this point in either class. So I think it was just kind of what he needed to do. I know he'd had some issues off the field, so it was kind of inevitable, I think, that he was going to do that. But it's one of those. It's definitely disappointing because he had so much hype and seemingly so much promise coming into Virginia Tech, and just never panned out. So those happen, but it's usually an unfortunate case when it does.
So let me ask you this then: we're looking at a 2019 quarterback. Then and that's a long ways away. Is there anybody right now that is even on the radar as far as that's concerned, or at this point? Because I mean, what would those would be kids that are freshmen this year, right? Or would there be sophomores this year?
That'd be sophomore. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw. I did a story this week, or at least put it out this week. I talked to him a couple weeks ago, but they've already started looking at guys for 2020. Roman Purcell is a kid from Don Bosco Prep up in New Jersey. He camped at Virginia Tech a couple weeks ago, the last camp of the summer. This kid, he doesn't have a lot of looks right now, but he's going to. This is a kid who's probably going to be the starter next year as a sophomore at Don Bosco, which is a big national powerhouse. So they've already started looking for 2020. So I don't think it's ever too early to look for some of these guys, at least kind of have some of these guys in the on the radar.
Right.
But, you got a long way to go with a guy like 2020. I mean, he's not going to be making any decisions. I would be shocked if he does, at least for another probably 2 years.
Sure.
But you want to get in early. You want to be, in good position because, quarterbacks especially commit very early. That's just kind of the way it's gotten to be. They've gotten to be earlier and earlier because schools want to be able to have a quarterback on board. You definitely only need one guy in a class in almost every case. And you want to be able to build a class around him. You want to market him and tell all your skill guys, hey, this is the guy that's going to be feeding you the ball. And so it works in their favor to get these guys, quarterbacks, on board early. So, I mean, just like DeJuan Ellis, he's got 2 years of high school left and has already made his decision at Virginia Tech. So about 2 years out, you're going to start seeing a lot of these guys make decisions.
So we got time is the point, right?
They got time, because they've already got a quarterback for the next 2 classes. So they're in very good position as far as quarterbacks go right now.
Jason Stamm is with the VT Zone, scouts.com. And actually, are you guys still running the special? I think I saw that here. Is that a done deal?
Nope, till 11:59 tonight, Paul. So I'm glad you brought that up.
All right.
Yeah, there's 3 months free, which is $30 if you subscribe by 11:59 tonight. So we got tons of coverage. I still haven't even posted all the videos from down here at Bristol. So I've given the teaser of me out on the track.
Yeah.
That's just a sample.
Well, what are you waiting for, man? What's holding you up here? Oh, it's this!
Yeah, I might as well, Paul, because I've already been told it's like a parking lot on 81 just north of Bristol. So I may be sitting here for a little while. I'm not sure.
Well, hopefully you got a good data plan. That's all I can say. Be safe.
Yeah.
Be safe on your ride back, all right, man?
All right. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Jason. Jason Stamm from the VT Zone, scout.com. Lots of great information. Interestingly enough, and I was wondering about that with that Dwayne Lawson situation, but yeah, now that he brings that up, the fact that there are quarterbacks coming in 17, quarterbacks already coming in 18, it's not something I don't think that we have to worry about, so that's pretty cool. Coming up, KG, what would you like to talk about in the next segment?
Let's do Olympics.
You got it. It's The Drive.
ESPN Blacksburg, AM 1430, 810.